Welcome into Cheesehead TV and the road to the 2026 NFL Draft with you, your host, Newt Westen. With the Senior Bowl practices wrapped up, I did want to kind of sprinkle in a little bit of fun with a little mock draft midweek or end of the week action, I should say, kind of off of the typical schedule. We'll still do one on Monday, don't worry. But I want to do a really fun mock draft here where I'm going to take a look at still through the lens of what the Packers need, going through all 7 rounds. But with the Senior Bowl practices now wrapping up, I'm going to do it just selecting Senior Bowl players, getting a chance to kind of look at where's that positional value for some of those guys. If you guys get a chance to watch this, especially before the Senior Bowl on Saturday, really great opportunity to give you a heads up on what guys to check out and keep eyes on. If you're an addict like me and you're following along with this, definitely love to hear your guys' opinions on where that positional value fits for some of these guys. There's going to be a handful of guys, in my opinion, that probably are going to see a first round draft selection. TJ Parker, Lee Hunter, potentially, depending on how he is viewed. But I think are going to be some of the bigger names that you got a chance to see out there, amongst maybe a handful of others, but definitely some players that are going to, actually more than some, a lot of players that are going to hear their name in the top 100 and then beyond. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into this mock draft. I'm going to use the PFF mock draft simulator for this one. And we'll see kind of where it goes. So the only rule is, well, I guess 2 rules. I'm not going to do a trade, and then I can only select Senior Bowl players. That is the rules that I'm going to go with, and we'll go ahead, pop off, and start this bad boy up. Hopefully Lee Hunter just falls to us at pick 52, and we can kind of move on from there. And he is there. People have been asking for this. They've been yelling at me all over social media. Why aren't you taking a defensive interior? Why aren't you taking a defensive interior? We need defensive interior. Well, guess what? Here it is. The fridge. Lee Hunter himself. Pick 52, going to the pack right here. We got that one out of the way. If Julian Neal is here, sign me up. I think that there are a couple guys that had an opportunity. Jennings Dunker was there. Justin Jolie, don't need a tight end, but had a pretty decent week. I think if you're looking for a center, I think Jennings Dunker could be the guy here. Jacob Rodriguez was so good down there. So was Denai Dennis Sutton. I think that it was with Sutton, you had a strong week from him, but he almost got washed out at some of the just absolutely phenomenal play that you saw from the other guys. Malachi Fields, maybe one of the best wide receivers there, if not the best wide receiver down there. I know some people are going to absolutely debate that. Malik Muhammad didn't do a ton to like move the needle for me. Didn't do anything bad though, which at some point you love to see. So man, with where the board fell here, I don't know what I'm going to be able to get for an interior player. And Jennings Dunker, I said it on the recap, he does not look good as a tackle, but man, he looks damn good as an interior player. And if you can get him in here and potentially as a center, where he's able to kind of use that mean nastiness that you see out of those Iowa linemen, sign me up for that. So we're going to go Jennings Dunker right here at pick 84. And that's going to take us to the 4th round with, let's see who pops up here. Obviously going to depend. Cuevas and Allen, 2 guys right away that were there. Katron Allen, I thought was the best running back down at the Senior Bowl. Jude Bowery, I still liked how he played. I thought he was a little bit under the radar. Got an awesome opportunity to do one-on-ones with, God, who was that? Derek Moore at the end of day 2. Eric Rivers, Shrine Bowl guy, still love him. Tim Keenan, that's not bad, man. That would be the beef. I mean, talk about what Packer fans want. They want just some absolute meat in the middle. Mike Washington had a good week as well. Oh, Thaddeus Dixon. So this is a guy I don't think he's going to be there at the next pick, but I'd love to take him. I think that Thaddeus Dixon did such a phenomenal job of coming on, having kind of a consistent week, and then today putting a really, really great cap in that hat or feather in that cap of his, as I completely butcher my analogy. Ted Hurst was solid too. Iggy's there. I guess I'd take Iggy. I mean, I don't think Iggy's fallen to there, but I'll take whatever the board gives me. We're gonna go. I think that eventually, and I haven't done it this early. I don't think. Halfback is going to become kind of something to take a look at. Some people are probably screaming at me like, "How can you take a halfback right here with all the other needs that we have?" Tim Keenan the third is there. I thought he had a pretty good week. Man, I really do. I like Katron Allen. We were able to get the interior. If we didn't, I might take Keenan the third. But we're gonna go with Katron Allen here. I think that this is a super appropriate place to take him. I think that Josh Jacobs, as much as I love him, he's not going to be running the ball forever. I'd really like to get it in the hands of a guy that has been capable and really showed out this year. So we're going to go with Katron Allen here in the fourth with pick, what was that, 120? So now we come up to pick 158. If one of those cornerbacks can stay on the board, I'll be happy. And of course they don't. None of them are there. Oh man, that just breaks your heart to see. But it's kind of what I thought it might be. Gillenborg was down there. I'm going to grab a tight end though. It's going to be Koizl. I've grabbed Koizl twice in these mock drafts, and it's been earlier, and I'm not mad about it. I think that he is that good of a player where I'm happy to get him even right here. Max Llewellyn was a ton of fun. If I could get him with pick 200, I would. I want to make sure that I'm kind of honoring the needs that the Packers have. The problem is I want to get a cornerback here, and I'm not sure, kind of staying within what I have to do with this. I don't know if we're going to get a cornerback. TJ Hall, I might end up grabbing TJ Hall with the next pick. I'm not going to grab him right here, though. I think that is aggressively early. Just kind of looking down, seeing where the guys are. Demings was fun. I think that he did a lot to step up from Stephen F. Austin and kind of show out for here. Depending on where he goes, his ADP versus his rank is just ridiculous. But you kind of see that. Yeah, the cornerbacks dried up more than I wanted them to. But that's how it goes. Trey Zune, man, he's another player. He only practiced day one. I thought he was fine. Definitely not anyone that I was like disappointed by. I think he had an ankle injury that kept him out of the rest of the week. So unfortunate for him. Would have loved to see him a little bit more within this environment, but you can't do anything about it. So I'm going to go with kind of BPA for the Senior Bowl players, a position that like some guys are like, yeah, we need a tight end now. Other guys are like, no, we don't need one. I'm going with Tanner Koizl because he had a hell of a day 3, went up and made a really big time catch to help out his quarterback. Was that, God, who was that? I'm like melding all three of them together. Was that Cole Payton? I think he had a really nice catch from Cole Payton. So we're going to go Koizl here. For anyone wondering how much higher am I going to continue to take Tanner Koizl, this is probably about the highest I would consider that is this 5th round pick. Diego Pavia, Roma Hemby, Rasul Fashion. Josh Cameron had a great week too. Luke Goatmeyer. Oh, Rayshon Benny had a phenomenal week. Where are my cornerbacks at? I said I'd take TJ Hall if he was here. Damn it. Oh man, I should do the mature thing and take TJ Hall. But man, there, especially with Rayshon Benny, he looked really, really good. TJ Hall didn't play bad. He was fine. And I think that you do need to address it. I think this is like that. Hey, let's eat our veggies pick. Let's grab TJ Hall right here. Get him with pick 200. Get him in and see what he can do to at least kind of shake up that cornerback room that needs a big kick in order to get them rolling in the right way, in my opinion. Grayson Halton, that's easy. Boom. I was upset Rayshon Benny wasn't there, but Grayson Halton, I thought, was maybe even better than Rayshon Benny. That makes this pick actually really, really easy. We're going to go with Grayson Halton with this. I don't even have to look at the rest of the board to see who's there, what players we want to grab. If Cole Payton's there at 220, I mean, I got a tough time saying no to that. What else we got here? Betcher. Oh, Bryce Betcher had such a good week. Yeah, it'd be fun to grab Cole Payton here, but Bryce Betcher playing, kind of as not one of the maybe top 10 linebackers in this year's draft class, really came out and might have been the best linebacker at the Senior Bowl, and that's with Jacob Rodriguez there. And I'm not saying that I think Betcher's a better player, but I think his play was almost as good, if not better, than Rodriguez. So let's go with Bryce Betcher here. I think that's a really great call out for a player that had a hell of a week. And then let's see. Oh, don't just sit there and think on me. Okay. I was like, oh man, we can't after a really fun draft, in my opinion, we can't crash. It would break my heart for sure. So Landon Robinson, not a Senior Bowl guy, Shrine Bowl guy, had a great week there. Adam Randall, that's not a bad name either. He had a really fun week. Do we need to grab 2 running backs? I don't know. I don't think so. But Zaven Sori was not a bad player either. He had a really fun week. Let's see here. Is Demings still here? No, he's gone. Oh, no. Demings is still here. Demings is there. See what the edge board looks like. If Quintavious Hutchins is here. No, he's gone. Good. He should be gone. Quintavious Hutchins absolutely should be gone. There's no way we should be talking about him right here. So I'm glad that is set up in that way. Any wide receivers that kind of really showed out? You had Chris Hilton. Baron Brown was okay. I mean, a couple guys that really showed out, I think, but I don't know, what they're going to look like here. Let's go with this. Let's take, it's either Cole Payton to get a backup. I think, with Kyle McCord, maybe you're not like overly convinced about that. Did sign him off a practice squad. Or you can go with Adam Randall, who I really wouldn't hate Adam Randall here. I think that he'd be a great addition. Zaven Sori. Let's just see what the next page has for us. Just trying to find guys that were there. My guy Gronowski from the Shrine Bowl. Yeah, Sam Hecht. Sam Hecht had a solid week. It was like a very quiet but solid week for Sam Hecht. That might not be bad. You know what? Let's go. Let's have this. I think that's a great pick. We're gonna go with Sam Hecht. I think it creates a little bit of versatility with what's gonna happen with Jennings Dunker. Allows him maybe to slide in to a guard spot or at least fight for one. And then also create some competition between Monk, Hecht, and Dunker for that center spot. So let's go with that. For the pick there, I think that's gonna make it a really nice end to this. I'm not going to call that a veggies pick. I'm going to call that honoring a guy that had a stellar week pick. So the post Senior Bowl practice, all Senior Bowl draft, we've got the Fridge himself starting off at pick 52. Then Jennings Dunker with the 3rd round, Katron Allen, Tanner Koisel, TJ Hall, Grayson Halton with our first true picks per each round. And then with those comp picks, we're able to come in and grab Bryce Betcher and Sam Hecht. I like this. I think that this was a really solid draft throughout. They don't know what I was doing. I was trying to grab Senior Bowl guys. PFF, if they would have known that, would have been like, yeah, that's great. But I think this is a really great draft throughout, especially when you put it through the lens of that. Some guys that were a ton of fun up there. Didn't address cornerback maybe like I would have liked to. I think that here was guys that I really do believe in terms of what they offer. Maybe you make an argument that cornerback should have gone instead of Katron Allen. That's fine. I haven't gotten to pick a halfback that early, and I think it is a position of need. So yeah, I'll take that criticism. But I still think I like where that's at. So that is going to wrap it up for this episode. As always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to follow along with all things Packers and their draft. We'll see you guys on the next one.